Welcome to Watercolor by Scarlett. Today we're talking about glazing. Now I have some water. I'll plop it right here. It's already the color, this color. This is quinacridone gold. This is the Winsor & Newton quinacridone gold. And these are the large pans. And someone told me they've discontinued these, although I don't know that for sure. But if they have, that's very sad because they were wonderful, or they are wonderful. I really, really love them. If you guys haven't figured out what this is a quail. This is actually my quail. Now, he doesn't have eyes. He is a boy. There are no dots on the front, and I have 3 male quails. So I could put eyes on him. Now, if I did that nice and quick, I could put in a little bit of an eye here so that perhaps he would look a little more like a quail. And then I believe his little beak is way down here. And I'm just using Paris blue. And I'm really just dotting this in so you guys can get a feel for what's going on. So you're not looking at this going, I do not see an animal at all. So this is his head. And you can see the little white lines here where it kind of goes around his head. And then his feathers come down. Now his feathers are beautiful. They are brown, and a light brown, a dark brown, and a little bit of white in there, although not paper white. That is why we need to do some glazing. So I have my Rosemary & Co. Triangle 40, and I could use anything. I could also use a mop brush if I wanted to, but for the fun of it, I'm going to use the Triangle 40 because I just really, really, really like this brush. And what I want to do, now I've just put some color on there, so I won't glaze the entire thing edge to edge, because if I do, that's wet, it'll bleed. What I want to do is lift some of this, put it over here, because I don't want to work from here. This is too concentrated. I'm just lifting that color, putting it onto my palette. So this color is really neat, this quinacridone gold. It's just amazing. It goes from really dark, deep, intense reddish orange to an extremely light yellow if you dilute it enough. In fact, this water over here is diluted with this color, but it can go really, really light. So I want to bring it off here, put it on my little bitty palette, and move it around. And because I don't want it so concentrated, because if it was concentrated, it would just pretty much cover the entire piece here, I want to dilute it. And then, and actually I think while we've been talking, the rest of it has dried, I'm going to gently glaze. Glazing means to paint a flat wash over a solid color, or over a color that's already there and dry. So I'm going to glaze over. Now you can do this with anything. It does seem pretty scary initially, like, what? You want me to what with my already dry piece? Oh my goodness. So glazing over it, I don't want to push hard. It's very, very light. I don't want to go back on anything. So I just have a little bit left here and a little bit down at the bottom. And this little bit down here. Okay, check it on an angle, see if there's anything I missed. I don't want to go back and mess around too much because I don't want to lift the color underneath out or up. But this part also, I want to come in here a little bit around that face. Even tap it in a little bit so it's got some texture or difference going on. And there we go. We've now glazed our little quail in order to unify the color. So if I had multiple colors, or say I had a scene, but the scene, there was different things going on in all the different areas of the scene, and you wanted to bring it together, you could glaze over, even doing something as simple as using just the water with a little bit of color in it and glazing it over that way in order to unify the whole piece. So let's do that. Now, I think that's a great idea. I won't go to the center because I've already glazed that. But let's say I wanted to bring it all together just by throwing on some water with very little paint. You know, this is the paint that I'm using, or this is only the paint that comes from my brush when I'm cleaning my brush. Now another thing, very helpful to know, if you want to glaze or paint, in this case it would be a flat wash that I'm doing because there's nothing underneath, but if you want to paint around something, if you turn it upside down, put it on an angle, and then come in with your brush and paint your edging, the water drips will fall away from your main subject and you won't have water drops running across your painting. Okay, so now the painting has more of a unified feel. Now the only thing left to do is to wait till this little face part till it dries, and then I'm going to go over that too. Let's see if this is dry enough. Because the quail, although it has white areas, whitish areas, it doesn't have bright paper white areas. So if I wanted to, I could continue adding a few more layers now that I have this first layer on, because this quail has lots and lots of different colors in here. Okay, and then later I would come back and do a little more detail around the face because the face is very complicated. And also once it dries, I'm also going to do something about the base. Now, in order to keep it not really monochromatic, but pretty close, I would probably come back with a color that's similar in order to put in the straw or the hay or the grass that this little quail happens to be sitting in. And while the rest of it's wet, if I tuck it in like this, make sure it's kind of under him, it will spread nicely and not be sharp, specific lines. It will have a nice gentle flow here. Okay, so once this is all dry, if I wanted to, I could come back and do a little more detail everywhere. But for now, I really like the way that looks. So that was glazing to unify an image. I hope you guys found this helpful and interesting. And I will see you in the next tutorial. Toodaloo!